Federal Opposition Leader Anthony Albanese, he must be the ultimate political optimist. There he was today at the National Press Club, giving us all initially an expansive science lesson and praising our inventive feats from the black box to Bluetooth and everything in between, which was his way to say science can fight climate change like it's doing in terms of a vaccine for COVID-19. And it's time that the government formed some kind of alliance with him, with Labor, on energy and climate policy.
It is beyond time that Australia had an energy policy in the national interest. That's why I've written to the Prime Minister and suggested we meet and agree on an energy investment framework that will deliver the modernisation of our energy system. Like industry and the experts, Labor is open-minded about the specific investment framework to be adopted. We can work with a national energy guarantee, a clean energy target, an emissions intensity scheme, or other models which deliver the essential component of providing that investment certainty.
With all respect, Albo, you've got two chances of the government accepting that olive branch, Nunn and Buckley's. They didn't even invite you to the National Cabinet. Now, one of the reasons the coalition has remained in power in recent years is because Labor has bungled its approach to climate policy. They've overshot the runway on reducing carbon dioxide not once, but 3 times, with an ETS, a carbon tax, and as we saw at the last election, an uncapped and unfunded promise to drastically reduce our emissions to net zero by 2050. Politically, why would the government end the climate wars by solving Labor's inadequacies? The Treasurer, well, he seemed to enjoy Albo's long shot at bipartisanship.
That Groucho Marx saying, if you don't like these principles, well, hang on, I've got some others. So there's a lot of Groucho about Albo.
Now, the government argues that it has the foundations of a scientific plan in their technology roadmap. Now, granted, there isn't much detail to that. And even Albo, though, endorses the Prime Minister's investment in this area. But today was also about Anthony Albanese placating the Otis Group, the group made up of Labor MPs who want coal to remain in the energy mix for the sake of jobs and quite often, in some of their cases, jobs in their own electorate. And it was one of their own members, Joel Fitzgibbon, Labor's MP for the Hunter, who first proposed a bipartisan approach just last year.
What would be the outcome? Think about this. If Labor offered a political settlement and simply made 28% the target for 2030, the focus would then be on them, on the government. No distraction. Prime Minister, are you on track to meet your 28% target, and can you show us what the pathway is there? And you can only avoid that question so many times if the other distraction is removed, and my view is he'd be forced to act.
So Albo's doing his bit to placate Joel and the rest of the Otis Group, but today's timing, it was an address that may have also been about Labor reminding the bushfire-conscious voters in Eden Monero that the ALP is still the party prepared to make the reforms required to change the temperature of the planet. Now, the problem with that premise is that the science, this is the science that Albo was talking about at the National Press Club today, proves that no matter what we do about capturing or reducing carbon dioxide in Australia, it will not change the temperature of the planet. We can contribute, and we've begun to do that. But until Labor can tell the public exactly what natural disasters will be reduced, what the temperature will do as a ratio of our carbon reduction, I'm sorry, but it's all for nothing, except it'll be expensive and put us further into debt. I must admit, though, Albo did deliver, well, the clever and most cutting point of the week about research and development today.
If only we could persuade this government that R&D was the name of a sports club in a marginal electorate.
Australia does not have a history of true bipartisanship, and I'm sorry, but after today, that's not about to change.